program is still listening to now Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We tell you this morning, say we they can look at waiting on the happen and the judiciary this being in terms of development, and especially so concern them where people can get for sicker the way how the judiciary done the work. But we still wait for the representative from the judiciary. But we continue with the other studio guests. Meanwhile, as we wait for the other guests for join we, as per the Constitution Section 120, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Salon, give power to the judiciary of Salon for give justice to people under the leadership of the Chief Justice. Also, we get the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the High Court. And also, under the Inferior Court, we get Magistrate Court, and the local courts where they can use for ensure say people we can get matter, we get to do with civil and criminal, go to court and get justice at the end of the day. But we don't get a lot of concern from people from different sections as per the way how the judiciary don't work, especially where it come for certain matter them where people under this concern say the judiciary not can give justice to people on time, delay on some cases them where them believe say they affect justice where they go to some people them. And now that's what they look at the program this morning. I tell you now we get Augustine Sengeh-Marrah at the studio in a human rights and rule of law advocates, and Sefna lawyer we don't the advocates for people and we can get issues with different things we get for do with national development and self justice. Well, as we be wait for the representative for the judiciary, don't get na the studio now this morning. Elkas Sanodeya, a commot na the communication wing na the judiciary, and a one for council na this morning. Waiting the judiciary don't they do so far before we go for come to Augustine Sengeh-Marrah for can talk about thing them we get for do with justice to people. Good morning and welcome to the program, Elkas Sano.
Good morning. Happy for the year.
All right, so you just meet at the tell listeners and sitting in the program. We can look at waiting the judiciary be done they do in terms of development and how not able for spread on our wings for ensure say people with the different partners salon get justice, and not just get them but also get them on time, because they can say justice delay is a justice denied. When that's make we get you at the studio this morning, but let me just start for get a quick rundown of activities them and thing them where the judiciary be done they do this BNTM for ensure say una achieve within the under section 120 subsection 1 of the Salon Constitution. What's una don't they do?
The judiciary of Sierra Leone na a creation of the Constitution, the 1991 Constitution. We get functions them for perform. Among them, na for interpret the law. Not only for interpret the law, but for apply the law as well. But when he take over the leadership of the judiciary, when His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio appoint the Honorable Chief Justice in December 2018, he commit in administration to reforms. When he talk about reforms, he says sustainable reforms. He look at the challenges them way the judiciary they face, and see there is urgent need for address then challenges them there for make sure say the judiciary become an envy of emulation within the sub-region. Therefore, it starts with the administrative good governance for ensure say we are able for provide quality and efficient leadership for the judiciary in terms of administrative good governance. He decides for restructure the judiciary by bringing on board competent Sierra Leoneans them we will help to achieve that particular vision there. Over the years, one of the challenges where the judiciary be not get now that staffing capacity. You can family them when they listen go surprise for no say the judiciary over the years not even get court operations. Somebody where they see the operations of the court. We not being a court operations manager. The activities of the judiciary have been there now to a very large extent. One person in hand when have been the master and registrar. So the Honorable Chief Justice said, no, we not able. The situation will continue for be chaotic. We not able to achieve this. So we bring in the court operations manager, and this person now woman. That aside, for the first time, the judiciary will get recruit competent woman for become the human resource manager. We not been get human resource person. All those gaps being actually make the administration of the judiciary very much faulty. He also recruits procurement. All those positions not be even the judiciary. One thing he do, because he believes in women's empowerment, he say them positions in there might bring competent women for able serve na them positions in there. So in terms of administrative good governance, he will make sure say bring in competent women them for serve na them competent people them, but primarily women them for serve na them positions in. Moving forward, he say the judiciary over the years people them the blast or lambast the judiciary, either for the right reason or for the wrong reason. The issue of access to justice, we don't create very much difficulty for the judiciary. What do you do? They say the issue of access to justice for being a priority. And no one know the social status of the person, and no one know your regional background, and no one know your affiliation. What is important to the Honorable Chief Justice is this: as long as you are a citizen of this great nation, if you believe say you deserve to get justice. Now, what do we do? The issue of access to justice, we not limit the operation of the judiciary to Freetown alone. It's say justice for every Israeli. If you say justice for every Israeli, you get for decentralize the operation of the judiciary. Hence, the need for recruit magistrate, the need for recruit judges. For the first time in the history of the judiciary, we able to get magistrates now all about the districts them. Right, today, as sit here, I'm proud for telling us say under the leadership of the Honorable Chief Justice, we get magistrates them all about the country. That aside, we get magistrates them, we get judges them, now place them for the first time in the history of Sierra Leone where we don't deploy judges them. Right. Because when you talk about access to justice, it gets to do with the deployment of judges, the deployment of magistrates, and make sure say you expeditious trial, it put down for be the hallmark of the administration.
All right, Mr. Sano, with all them things there, so the restructuring and the various changes them way you said under the administration of the current Chief Justice, it don't happen at the judiciary. With all them things there, so what you don't outline from employing new people them way for reduce the workload on certain people them to sending different magistrates na places the outside magistrates and judges they not been there. With all them things that way don't happen, okay for say now the concern we be don't they come out from people them, but the law of justice and some of them things that can result to overcrowding at the correctional center them. Then thing they are where the Chief Justice don't do it all reduce them.
The delay of justice, I don't feel say that overwhelmingly responsible for overcrowding at the correctional center. But for answer your question, yes, because it's Siam say now a very great challenge for able to achieve when you talk about the administration of justice, for able to make sure say you able count the judiciary to a peak where you feel safe for be an admiration to not only Sierra Leoneans but to Africa in general. He able to make sure say it puts down just few of the things them way I highlight to you. Now, for the first time, where the Honorable Chief Justice he take the issue of overcrowding, like you say, as a very great challenge to an administration. What did he do? 2019, the judicial week, he dedicates that particular week to the correctional center. He go there with judges them, where at the end of the day, we able to succeed for pull 45 inmates them we been there na the correctional center, where help for reduce the issue of overcrowding. But that's not to, that's the issue of overcrowding, not as a result of delay. Yes, not as a result of delay on the part of on the part of the judges them. Many reasons then they were responsible.
Okay.
But as we progress at the highlight, then reasons them why make people inmates then they day now we now we in correctional centers, and the Honorable Chief Justice see and say there is need the judiciary in particular see and say there is need for also address the issue of overcrowding. Mark you, if you watch at the correctional center, Pademba Road to be specific, in creation or in establishment, they say it was only meant for 300 people. But because the place is small, and you look at the growing population, the surge in population, people, the Australian population, from them time then where they make up for 300 people, now we get up to 8 million people, according to the last census what we do. So you expect say there is need. Happy the government they say there is need for relocate the correctional center so that it will meet up with the growing population trend where we get now the country.
We can look at then challenges and in terms of overcrowding and all. And before we take commercial break and come back to Augustine Sengeh-Marrah, but back to you. You talk of the issue of magistrates them. We don't do it all over the country, but how often the magistrates here they sit down and serve? How often the judges then can visit?
Now, not to visit. Now, resident high court judges. Where the
how often in the courts? How often the courts and the
now I just want to say. Now, resident high court judges them, where, for example, place like Kailan for the very first time since independence, now Kailan gets a resident high court judge, Potloko, Kwenadugu, Moyamba for the very first time, and now they don't get a resident high court judge. Then judges them and then magistrate them. Are happy for announced to family where they listen to they say even on Saturdays. If you go now, some of them cut them. Saturdays now, judges them, magistrate them, they sit. If you go now Waterloo on Saturdays, after this, go Waterloo and Saturday and see. On Saturdays now, then they sit court all because the issue of justice system. We say and say we this now time for speedily address them, challenge them, so that Salon judiciary will be an institution where people will admire within the sub-region when it comes to the administration of justice.
Continue for the between at the studio. We will come back to Elkas Sano. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue. We take commercial break and come to we get them back.
Salon Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile app, you can able for use Salon Link money transfer for send money to anybody. It like you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office. It like you not get the account number. Buy Edsalite. Pay other bill them and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yagbadon done for we boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all your supplier them, sell forex to Salon Commercial Bank and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store or go to Salon Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering God.
All right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salon. In case you just tune in, today na the program we dey look inside the developments them we do happen at the Salon Judiciary this BNTM and serve some of the concern them where people get but how the judiciary don't they do their work. Well, for can look at this topic today, we get somebody we come out from the communications department, na the Salon Judiciary, we na Elkas Sano, and na the communications officer day, and we get a human rights and a rule of law activist, we na Augustine Sengeh-Marrah, and Seth in a lawyer. Law can out to you, Mr. Marrah. You na a lawyer. Last say almost every day in the corridors of the court, and Seth, you na advocate. We don't talk about rule of law. You don't write different articles them we get for do with the judiciary. Some of the articles I don't call them out according to you some of the wrongdoings. And you there now this morning we look at the judiciary and try to assess some of the things them we don't happen in this BNT when a development in them. As of this point, how you go assess the Salon Judiciary?
Khadija Mabel, thank you very much. I think for me, I'm not going to begin for talk about the judiciary, the current state of justice of this country, if I not provide the context. And the context now, the over 100,000 lives that we lost during the war, the tens of thousands of people we were directly affected by the war, and in many people we been suffered displacement. Some people they don't left Salone. We mentioned the word Sierra Leone. It evoke echoes of them barbarity them where they go to. And the Truth and Reconciliation Commission been document them findings. So I take my time, before I come to studio, just for read about waiting the truth. The TRC been say about the judiciary. And I want to read just a short excerpt from the TRC report about the role of lawyers and judges. It says the commission finds that lawyers and judges in Sierra Leone have failed to stand up to state tyranny. They have failed to give any meaningful content to the rule of law. And I say this because almost 20 years after the end of the Civil War, we still talk about judicial reforms. And for me, 20 years, almost 20 years on now, Salone forbid that place who say people can come up from overseas for can't study the state of the judiciary. Because we don't learn beaucoup lessons from where to go through. But sadly, we not don't learn so much from where to go through. When we get the special courts, the expectation that the special court for the influence with national judiciary, where at this stage you not forget beaucoup trainings. As a matter of fact, we judge them for they go from country to country. They train people because we go through such a dangerous civil war, because of all we experiences. But I heard the communications person from the judiciary, and it sounds as if na them, the NGO kind of reforms them. They not get court manager, they appoint court manager. But here's the thing: if me go to court today, I get case, they adjourn me case to 2 weeks, they adjourn me case to 1 month. If I get judgment, I don't want to wait for judgment for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It no matter whether communications person they appoint, it no matter whether they appoint court manager, it no matter at all. Because all of them till and day go be insignificant if the real meat of justice is not touched. And I mean, you have to give it to the current Chief Justice. All them problems how they talk about judiciary not start under administration. And me particularly not like way they talk for the judiciary, they have to say under the leadership of the Chief Justice, and they for left for the politicians under the leadership of His Excellency, then for left.
The problems they not start under administration, but according to El Cas here, where it come, it meet some of them challenges there. It don't do different things them according to the way I highlight. It don't send judges them aside the way judges they not be there. It don't employ new people them for help reduce the workload on certain people, or they make cases then they delay na court and all. With the thing them way Mr. Sano identify. And waiting they happen now the courts. It don't help for reduce some of the problems where the new Chief Justice meet.
Kaija, thank you. I just want for reference an incident we call not too long ago where the South Korean been taking life because according to get issues with some ministry, etc., etc. But quite apart from that, one person who been work for that particular Korean day. You get a case in a court, and as I talk so, as we speak so this morning, that case they not done at court yet. We get countless number of cases them the same way. So yes, you find where I highlight all them things the way they happen at the judiciary, but very importantly, the judiciary is set up to dispense justice. And that is significant. And the only way you can measure whether this particular judiciary they dispense justice. Now the way, for example, the way they treat, for example, opposition politicians in a case. That's a two measure. Not the way the ruling party of politicians in a case. So the two measure. Now where opposition politician in a case, they appear before the judiciary, how they are treated. That's a two measure.
But they can look at
And maybe bear with me, please. And if you want to know whether justice don't change, God forbid, get case this morning, begin from police. In 24 hours, you would come back, and then it would be a different narration from what the communication specialists don't say. If you go to the courtroom today, it will be a different narration. Apart from all the cosmetic changes that we see, they don't paint the courts, they don't improve conditions here and there, but the real meat of justice. And I know so along the program, we will talk about the real meat of justice. Because we talk about justice delayed and justice is justice denied.
Yeah, we'll can look at some of them cases then. But let me go back to the issue. Say El Casano begins to about reforms them. Where don't they happen? One thing we make mention of, forget for a bit, access to justice as per in explanation, waiting, the CJ and in team don't do so far now for let them create more access to people and we go get access to justice at the end of the day. You don't monitor issues where they happen with human rights and criminal civil matters then na the courts. Then reforms here where El Casano just talk about from the judiciary. They're enough or they're not able to create any impact in terms of people getting more access to justice?
Maybe I have to be honest with you. I mean, me not don't conduct any studies in terms of impact, but I think say the reforms and they really they're in place. For let's set up magistrate courts all districts and they really they're in place. But there's one thing to have a magistrate in every district. There's another thing for let that magistrate in the districts they dispense justice. Because you can get boku judges them, but actually you don't get justice really. In Rwanda, for example, after the genocide in 1994, when the new administration composed the genocide, they had about over 700 judges then. But before the genocide, the judiciary was in a state of mess. So what in Kagame administration do now for cuts down on the number of judges from 700 to 200. So when they cut them down from 700 to 200, nowadays, anytime when the World Economic Forum, they publish their reports, in Rwanda and one pandi, then they're at the top 3 of the countries that we get a very good and independent judiciary. The top 3. So it's not the number of judges there really. It's not the fact that you get judges there all time at districts. It's really the dispensation of justice. Because you can get magistrates there all time, but then really the output of justice is very minimal.
Mr. Marrah, just make mention of how the judiciary they treat cases them from the opposition. Now, one way don't be of concern from opposition member them, and most times have them supporter them. You not a lawyer, you did not court, and most time you can represent your clients them on them cases there. So when you come to the way how the judiciary they treat cases them way now from the opposition party them, how you think say they don't they handle them this particular aspect of delivering justice to the nation?
So Khadija, I think I have to be honest with you as a lawyer. I can't comment on specifics of cases before the court. But I make that point say for sure the point say, they measure the strength, they measure the independence of a judiciary only from where politicians and from the ruling party go get case. Now, how then they treat other people, how then they treat opposition politicians. Although you hear boku stories them, we petition them here and there, petition them, it take a longer time before they were heard. For example, I filed papers on behalf of the Bar Association against the commissions of inquiry in January 2019. They know hidden case in it. I filed papers against the state of emergency, the current one, the one we just done. For say all the regulations that we not covered me just they pull all about, they were unconstitutional in my opinion. And I put them before the Supreme Court to interpret them. From April 2020 to date, they know it. And I get a number of cases, and I know say for example, the Creole Descendant Union and file case concerning the fact that non-natives they know their own land, that the provinces. To date, they know a hidden case in it.
So for instance, then examples and we don't make so. people foresee them as deliberate delay or perhaps constraints them where the judiciary said they get for bringing them up?
No, so Mabel, if you say constraint, you have to also look at the speed at which they file other cases them.
So are they deliberate?
I cannot characterize them. But if we talk about justice and anything they will talk about, not whether they don't appoint court operations manager. Now, whether at the end of the day, judiciary is really set up for give justice to the people of Sierra Leone. And I don't read these findings when they say the lawyers and judges then fail to stand up to state tyranny, then set up the judiciary. Now, for let them ensure say the executive not become so powerful that they oppress the people of Sierra Leone. The judiciary now for check them.
So, Mr. Marrah, based on
for call them to account.
Mr. Marrah, based on the examples of cases there, so where you just don't mention, where according to you up till now, the courts not yet reading cases, they have some from 2019 to date, where other one them safe, they don't find at the courts, but up till now, they're not yet reading it. And according to waiting the judiciary man don't talk, the Chief Justice don't try in his best for allocate different cases them to judges and magistrates them, but still and delay they happen. You think say the judiciary don't they play their role where they're supposed for play for give quick justice to the citizens them? That's not the question why I ask you.
Yes, so Khadija, to be honest with you, when we look at the historical finding from the TRC, I think say we for move away from them kind practice and they we go make people and suspect or people and get their opinion say the judiciary is being unfair, right? For example, if opposition can file papers, you make sure say you assign them promptly because the judiciary exists for everybody. It exists for everybody. So once them practice, then they around people and they get the suspicion say the judiciary is being unfair to especially opposition groups or activists like we're not there in any political party. I don't do this work for because I get any project. I don't work for any NGO. As a matter of fact, some of them here where they talk, I lost money and I lost clients. But we have to say it because anytime I read TRC, it says lawyers and fail to stand up, and I no one for be part of them lawyers the way they fail for stand up to state tyranny.
All right.
Continue for the with we in the program. Augustine Sengeh-Marrah in a human rights and a rule of law activist. To continue for look at issues them today in the program we get for do the Salon Judiciary and save some of the developments them we don't happen there. Mr. Sana, they come back to you and some of the things them way Mr. Marrah highlights where they make in submission. Now it make mention of the way how the judiciary they call courts different cases them for them make example of cases them we be don't file from 2019 and save other cases them we get for do with the opposition member them we can get issues with petition and for gonna courts. Some delay can day for some of them cases there. So what are some of the reasons them we can cause them delay?
Happy for them concerns them where they come from, and are there for able to make sure say address them concerns there. One thing I want to make family with the listen this program for make them know that like we I make mention on to the Australian Constitution was say the first and foremost function of the judiciary now for dispense justice, the dispenser of justice. Yes, but you know they say you they succeed in the dispensation of justice. One, if the required enabling environment is not created. That is one. Two, if you not get the competent judicial officers. So where me brother they talk about say it's not about recruitment, it's not about recruitment. It is very much fundamental in the administration of justice because, for example, when you get judicial officers, you not get a human resource person where they oversee their activities. He really they undermine the efficient and effective service delivery. But for answer your question, I say this. In 2015, the management and functional review report where they come with for the judiciary of Sierra Leone, it states very clearly, say, 143 person to a judicial officer. 143. When the Honorable Chief Justice take over, at that time, the status been there 129 to a judicial person. When means say, we judges them what we get. They have been overloaded with work. They're not enough. It make reference to Rwanda. Rwanda gets, we say, they among the 3 best na Africa. We say they get 200. We don't even have 100 judges. Because when we talk, it's not about for make we can, because we na journalists or human rights lawyers, we forget to acknowledge the age-old problem. Because this problem, if we not able see, highlight, make them very prominent, those problems, them we know they ever able achieve when you talk about the dispensation at the camp. When you talk about the dispensation of the now, for example, the status of the judges now not even reach 100, and you look at the growing population of population when the last census, it tells you say we almost get 8 million population. That they show say we judges them are being overloaded with work, and therefore there is need for recruit more judges in ensuring that we ameliorate the problem where we get at this country. So but I want to make this very much clear. When in just this short time, more we learn for commend people them where they deserve commendation. It's not about cosmetic or whatsoever. More we say this. Recently, human rights defense for children international, where at the camp, I listen to them head where they commend the judiciary at the moment. If you take a look at this short time at the camp, you look at the Amnesty International, you look at
you already don't make mention of the good thing where you say the Chief Justice don't do under in leadership. Let's come back to the issues we get for do with delay for deliver justice, especially concerns we don't the come. Sengeh-Marrah make mention of political cases we don't delay na the courts, and people and the public have don't raise concern for some of them cases, and they waiting can cause the delay, especially with political cases, because when they deliver justice, enough for be one side. Justice not they pick and choose. You know they look at color or waiting they cause the delay in some of them cases.
I just been the key. If you when you listen attentively, I make mention of the management and functional review where they do on the judiciary of Sierra Leone, where they tell you say one of the challenges the more we get, we not get enough judges.
Now, at the
camp, no, not so that make the cases they know they come up. I just tell you, we say waiting at some.
Earlier when you begin talk, the first thing where you talk about now under the leadership of the Chief Justice, you don't make sure say then distribute judges them and magistrates in a different courts than where it not be they happen.
Yeah.
But now they come back and say the delay of some of them cases there they happen because una not get enough judges.
No.
Also this recruitment talk about saying a change. Okay. Also it don't bring this change now.
Okay, well my explain for that may the public understand what I say. Reasons then they where they make matters in the delay in a court.
Now that's what they ask.
Yes. I start with the broader perspective. When mean say, even though we don't get judges them, we don't recruit judges them, now then places them, but we still need more judges for able to make sure so we able ameliorate, then challenge them when we broader the case. But primarily, we some of the reasons that we make matters in the delay in a court. Now that one, even the lawyers them now it can pose a problem, can be a problem for when matter they come up, because when matter they before a judge, the lawyer they take a date and they tell you say me witness no well, you know they able come now challenge now human. We get human factors them, human factor way responsible for that. We get some they tell you say also the defense they tell you say me health condition enable come. Some of them then the human side of her for provide for come with witness. You understand? They date them where then they take where some lawyers in the camp and they tell you say, my lord, this particular matter I not get witness. That not to primarily the reason.
So
That some of the reasons then.
because the reason why we don't want for going to specifics because then already they na court. So we don't want for interfere with the specific cases them. But political cases them as we don't make example of. You don't they talk on top say you don't give then are just some of the reason. Waiting at the major reason we go cause delay we not go be 1 month, 2 months, but it go take over a year.
No.
Waiting they cause that.
Now
because lawyer not going to take
the
for over 1 year say not able for come in witness not
yeah,
testify.
under this current administration, that delay where been they happen, where matter they for how many months they come up, they happen under this administration, and they tell you how in fact how it they happen for address some of them challenges them. One, when the Honorable Chief Justice don't assign the matter, former the matter we they ensure say we send them direct now we website. If you go right now we website, you will see all the matters the way the Honorable Chief Justice don't assign. Immediately when you don't assign, the Honorable Chief Justice they ensures the judiciary court the judge they ensure say the court registrar they send notice out.
Okay.
When they don't send notice out, the matter they begin. On the issue of where date where this matter they before this judge come tomorrow, next tomorrow, or whatsoever. Then a few of the challenges. And then secondly, like I say, we judges them overloaded.
Okay.
Then the judges then but imagine Salon with 8 million population, we don't even get judges the more rich when we reach 100. So we admit some of them challenges the more we get. But what we don't do for address them thing there, now some of the things and then the way I've been highlight. Where the matter come out from the Chief Justice, direct to the judge, then send notice, then they make sure say the judges then try the matter expeditiously. But then human errors then what been explained. Now some of the reasons then that where matters then the adjourn matters in a court.
All right, they come back to you, Mr. Sano, with the program Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Where they bring the program come to you this Monday morning. My name is Khadija Bangura.
And Mabel Kaba.
When they come back to Augustine Sengeh-Marrah as we continue to look at issues them where they happen at the Salon Judiciary. Mr. Marrah, we don't talk about different things them way according to Mr. Sanona and they cause some of the delay them, the judiciary they get challenged, especially with judge them and magistrate them for sit on some of them cases there, so we then supposed for look inside. The judiciary not get enough judges them. According to Ramna, the reason where they cause some of them delay so for let the court hear some of them cases there so. You think say na enough reason than they for some of the delay them on certain cases?
Khadija, I would bluntly say no, but also I understand the communications person from outside they come from, and I know they try for patronize them, but if you what we understand in terms of the procedure as lawyers, I don't think say in go understand them from that perspective there.
Why?
And I can always say because for example when you talk about delay, for a signed case, you don't need one person to assign, which is a practice that we don't recommend. A different regime, for example, the regime we did in Ghana, for example. For a signer, just you pen and then say put before this judge, right? You don't need a number of other judges for get assignment process. And some of the examples that were raised now about assignment, and this, like I say, this not starts under this current Chief Justice. So, if Mr. Sano know me, you know, say I don't talk about judiciary over 10 years, and Justice Edwards, they appointed him in December 2018. So not to. Then probably I already talk about not to under start law get unclear. And also he mentioned say no get boku judges. As a matter of fact, they don't appoint few more judges. We don't add to the number. But the delay then we the suffer now. Me think say with the number of judges say if we don't get a reduction of them delay them. He mentioned all anything and about lawyer go come and ask for adjournment, not to them thing we talk about. You get in human circumstances where you can ask for adjournment for 2 weeks because your client's not well or your witness not available. Those are normal. But it's not normal for example, I brought a matter for their ex-employees of a certain state institution, where they reserve them for judgment in May 2015. 47 plaintiffs, about 7 of them don't die. All the part they have been instruct me, where I just start practice in 2011, most of them don't die. In 2015 May, if now one word say for the rights na paper, if I don't done that judgment, 2015 May, these are people away, they don't left serve, they don't serve over 30 years. They've been waiting from 2015 May to date. So it's over 6 years. They've been waiting for justice. Not to this no more, a number of other cases. This BNTM, Mr. Charles Magai called me and the president of Sierra Leone Association. So now know all the number of judgments away pending. It would interest you to note that we get judgments away pending for over 10 years.
Mr. Marrah, what did you talk
over
about?
8 years. So there's no justification. It's not the number, really. It's the attitude towards justice.
When they talk about delay of cases them na the court and say how the judiciary don't they work for give justice to the citizen them. One common word where don't they come up like that, others from above. We come on certain cases them, especially one day we get for do with politician them and other people them. The judiciary, most people believe can they under pressure from others from above.
I have to be honest with you. Me think say in the judiciary, we will not forget anything like others from above. So what we can comment on actually now waiting they happen. And the public perception, not so good though. Public perception, all the time, when they release reports, the judiciary and the police, they up yonder. Consistent with what TRC don't say. In 2002. So 20 years on, if we don't get a different report, Mr. Sanoff for kind of studio say we go Rwanda, we go train and judge them. Because of what we go through as a nation. If we don't say we go Liberia and we they train and judge them now. Because we they export justice. But 20 years after the war, then still they train we. In know the number of trainings where they don't give magistrates and judge them on bail. See the attitude of to bail. 30 they almost not change.
For you,
so not to train in number one, we want a change in attitude. But the way they approach justice really. In South Africa, for example, Oscar Pistorius in matter, murder, he was granted bail. In murder. So we see in cases where, there are bailable offenses, etc., etc. Now that make overcrowding there. So the
change.
Attitude not really don't change.
You call about the attitude need for change. As per your own recommendation for CISE, we get a turnaround now the judiciary in terms of dispensation of justice. But also the attitude problem there, is it from the judges them, the magistrates them, or una self the lawyers them? Other than largely this change for come from?
So I like that question there because as Sidona I read the TIC report, you don't say judge no more, say lawyers and judges. So we all get a collective responsibility for make a right. And the first way we can able for make a right, now let's be honest, say we have a problem within the judiciary. Let's not kind of radio and say, oh, we don't do this project, we don't send this here, we don't out and call them. One of the things that when we don't push for judge them forget, now for let them get pupil lawyers them from law school for clerk with them. And I agree, say, somehow they are overwhelmed. If you assign 2 pupil lawyers to a judge, one way they're doing research for them, one way they're drafting judgment, it will reduce the workload. We don't get a draft amendment to the Legal Practitioners Act for years now.
Right.
For years now, once you introduce that practice, and this is a conversation I've had, for example, with the Attorney General, the Chief Justice, on these matters. So then they go significantly cut down on the workload on them. Really. But also, but to make the point that some of the delay them, not so because of the workload. Okay. Some of the refusal for assign, not so because of the workload. We have to be honest to the people of Sierra Leone. People have lost their life because of the inaction and omission of the judiciary. People have lost their limbs, people and destinies were shattered. We have to be honest. Say not to workload make them assign. Not to workload make some judgments that they're not the right thing.
Now they assign the judgment.
Not about assignment.
The assignment? Khadija, one person they assign. If you ask me that question, I think it will be unfair because I don't know why they assign.
Okay.
Yes.
Continue for the with the program, Augustine Sengeh-Marrah. All right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. We still get the communication person. We come out from the Salon Judiciary and Augustine Sengeh-Marrah in a human rights and rule of law activist. To look at the Salon Judiciary in the program this morning. Quickly, Mr. Sano, who not get enough time again at the program or the wrap up.
Yes.
In terms of people them we still not they get confidence in the judiciary. What think will be word of assurance where you go left to listeners them this morning?
Yeah, I want to talk on the area of attitude. We recognizing or acknowledging the problem or challenge, it form part of the solution. Now that make we admit say there are challenges. But the successes so far, it don't reposition Sierra Leone so much that in 2020, the World Justice Index, it puts Sierra Leone above countries like Nigeria, countries like Pakistan, other countries them where we feel say they advance past we when they get we over the years, they know they include Salome part of the rating. Now because we don't the leadership provided so far not able to reposition Salon. Now that make they don't begin rate we in terms of the dispensation of justice. Moving forward, in terms of the attitude in delaying where matter the delay or whatsoever. Another in addition to waiting I say, waiting very much key, like where my brother say for change attitude, the lawyers them also need for change the attitude very good because lawyers them they take so much, they get so many cases them when matter come when the judge they don't call the matter before the particular court, the lawyer know the day for the day, so waiting in the call now date they can call for, and if lawyer not there they don't call you matter automatically, then they adjourn them. So they also need for be honest to the litigant there as well. Then the very much key because if we talk about honesty, it's for also in terms of attitude, change of attitude. They also need for make sure say they comply with court directions.
Right.
Normally, when they don't file some plenty applications, if they waste the court in time, then they know they comply by the judge in direction. Right. So what me they say to Fambulem here is that we not say we are there yet, but there is glimmer of hope for say in the not too distant future. Waiting with the expect for the Sierra Leone judiciary become an envy of emulation within the sub-region. We go also we will also see that soon.
All right, quickly, Mr. Marrah, as you hear from what Mr. Sano say, they are not there yet, but more thing than the way then they try for put in place for make sure say Salon judiciary become enviable to other countries them at the sub-region. Waiting at some of you word of advice we go left for the judiciary.
I think, Khadija, very quickly, I go forgive me, brother. We talk about lawyers in attitude. If you understand the rules of court, if lawyer go take dates, lawyer go not comply, there are rules. So every court, there are rules of procedure. There are rules of procedure, and then any judge them for apply. If a lawyer appears to want for prolong a trial or prolong a matter, right? And one. Me not get anything against any of the judges. I have enormous respect for them. Always here they say, now for let the judiciary of Sierra Leone improve so that justice will be given to the people of Sierra Leone because we deserve justice. 20 years after the war, we're not for the talk about glimmer of hope. We go for the talk about success stories and how we can export them stories and experiences across the sub-region and internationally. Nowadays, any court judgment from the Special Court of Sierra Leone, we also want for let them begin court we own judgments in. I know say a number of projects are being done here and there, but actually me urge now for let the judiciary actually tend to the means of justice. Because if you do all them peripheral changes them, such an actual means of justice, then things are not going to change.
All right. Thank you very much, Augustine Sengeh-Marrah and El Cassano. We will come to the program this morning as we look at how the judiciary of Salon done the work for give justice to the citizens them. Now then the program Good Morning Salon for today on edition. Alex Lawrence Kroma and Michael Sambola and them produce the program. DJ Ahmad give with technical support. Usman Kamara and I make una watch we live now Facebook page. We want to apologize to texters them we send their message, but not be able to read them inside the program. Mina Khadija Bangura they say have a good day.
And Mabel Kabade say keep warm as it's a rainy Monday. Goodbye.
All right, so I'm going to still tune in.